Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode of the Weekly Compass, we're going to take a look at the energies and the numerology for May 3rd through the 9th. So happy May. We are officially almost midway through the year already. So before I get into the forecast, I just want to mention that I have loaded the May forecast for each individual life path number. Those are up on my YouTube and my podcast. So if you haven't looked at yours or listened to yours yet, go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So these, of course, are general readings. If you are interested in a personalized reading to look at your personal energy, then please book some time with me. I would love to meet with you. Okay, so the numerology for the upcoming week. We start this week off with 3 energy. And so this is very creative energy. This is a time for newfound inspirations and coloring outside the lines. Creation within itself can sometimes get a little messy. Sometimes it can get a lot messy before the final masterpiece is unveiled. So don't be afraid to jump right in and immerse yourself fully in the process, which can sometimes feel a little uncomfortable, but if we release that need for control, then it actually becomes kind of fun. So this is a time to go with the flow, release your inhibitions, and unleash your inner child to do what your inner child does best, which is to play. Don't be afraid to make a mess. You'll find your structure later. Explore without defined boundaries. So this is also a time when communication can be heightened. You may see an influx in your inbox. You may hear from a long lost friend or relative. The lines of communication could open in an area where communication previously was stifled. This is a time to say what you mean and ask for what you desire or need. Requiring others to be able to read your mind and getting frustrated when they can't won't get you very far at this time with this 3 energy. We move into the end of the week and we have 9 energy. So this may be a time where you may feel called to be much more selfless in your actions. Empathy, grace, forgiveness, and understanding are all potent at this time and all highlighted. If there's a grudge that you've been clinging to for a while now, this is the perfect energy to try to find a way to release it so that you can move forward much more lightly. You may feel called to be more a part of a community right now, or to volunteer your time or your resources to be in service in some way to the greater collective. Whatever way you find, that comes in for you, that feels good to you in order to satisfy this calling, that is going to be supported at this time. So you can say yes to it. This is a great energy for balancing giving and receiving, masculine and feminine energies, and self with selfless. 9 energy truly embodies that of the humanitarian. So any efforts you can make at this time that contribute towards a greater good and the good of all will bring you much joy. So let's take a look at the actual overall energies for the week. When I look at the beginning of the week, when I say that this is a creative life force energy that is just swirling about at this time, I mean, it is potent. There's definitely, this call to bring from the ether into the physical something that you want to create. And this is something that is not artificially fabricated. This is something that is coming from you to, from your higher consciousness into your soul to be sort of created by you into the physical. So I anticipate that you will probably have a lot of insights coming in at this time. You will probably get a lot of downloads. You will probably have a lot of inspirations, or if in the past you've had the inspirations but the motivation has been lacking, I anticipate that you will feel a tremendous amount of motivation to get started on whatever this is. This doesn't have to be about, a lot of times we think about creating something for an end result. This is all about creating something for the pure bliss and joy of it and the fulfillment of it. So what it brings to you as a spiritual human being, right? So it's like that process of allowing the creative life force to flow through you and create something in the physical with your own two hands. So again, take the end result out of it and just go with the flow of this and allow yourself to immerse yourself within the creativity. Like I said, it might get a little bit messy, right? But that's okay. That's sort of the idea. That's part of the process, is to release the inhibitions, release the need for absolute structure and control, and just go with it. And again, whatever you come up with, whatever it is that you create, it could be just writing a poem, writing in your journal. It could be doing a painting or, starting a book or whatever the case may be. It'll be unique for you because it's your creative juices. So just allow this energy to flow through you and see what comes up for you. And then take that energy and see what you can mold it into, see what you can do with it. But there is a tremendous amount of creative energy coming in strongly at the beginning of the week. And this can also be communicative energy. So again, you may see those lines of communication sort of just flow completely open for you at this time. So pay attention to what wants to come in for you when it comes to others reaching out to you, others wanting to communicate, others maybe wanting to mend bridges that maybe have been burned in the past. That could come in as well. So definitely that 3 energy is coming in super strong, will not be ignored. So I think that pretty much most people are going to feel this in some way. Again, it's always what we choose to do with that energy, but if you choose to sort of ignore this energy, sometimes when that creative energy wants to flow through us and we stifle it, we can start to see physical ailments sort of crop up from that, whether it's actual physical pain or, feeling uncomfortable, or if it's mental. So just really pay attention to, where your soul wants to create something, but you keep saying no, and pay attention to how that's making you feel. So again, definitely this energy wants to be harnessed and worked with. Okay, then we move into midweek. And it's interesting because what's immediately coming in is this feeling of others really wanting to support you at this time. But sometimes we're so caught up in our own burdens, or we're so caught up in the daily stress, or, whatever it is that's sort of taking over our mind at the moment, that we sort of miss the opportunity, I guess, to feel that support or to allow others to support us in the way that would be actually beneficial. So I'm just seeing like this opportunity for a tremendous amount of support coming in for you. This can be financial. This can be just feeling that sense of camaraderie, this sense of support from your loved ones, your family, your friends, your colleagues, but just a tremendous amount of support coming in. But, just because it's there doesn't mean that you are taking advantage of it, that you are actually going to harness it. So I'm just seeing this need to lay down the burdens, lay down, whatever it is that's consuming you, and lay down that need to have to do it all on your own, or feeling like you need to be this island that is able to, again, do it all on your own, because I'm seeing a tremendous amount of support coming in. Again, that can be financial or, other people coming in to help support you, to help build whatever it is that you want to build. But I'm seeing this like feeling of the need to decline that support because you feel like you have to do it on your own. And if you don't do it on your own, that there's some kind of shame in that. And so again, it comes back to laying down those burdens, laying down those misconceptions of, the thought that you need to do it all alone. You don't. And allow yourself to receive that support however it comes in for you, okay? We definitely, as a global society, have a really hard time with the divine feminine energy of receiving. And so you may find at this time that you have an opportunity to sort of flex that muscle and to see, where it is that the support wants to come in, but you have these preconceived notions that somehow receiving support or assistance is somehow shameful, which of course we've all been conditioned to believe. So it's breaking down those barriers. But I see this beautiful support coming in for you, but it's what you do with that support that's going to make all the difference for you. So lay down those burdens, lay down those preconceived notions, and just say yes to whoever it is, whatever it is that wants to come in and lighten the load for you. Then we move into the end of the week, and it's interesting because this is so 9 energy. I'm getting this feeling that sort of this question of what would my higher self do in this situation? Or how would my higher self handle this situation? So I feel like there may be something coming in at the end of the week that is going to sort of force you to take a closer look at, where it is that your soul is trying to show up and sort of make a higher level decision, but your ego keeps stepping in and overriding it, right? And so this is going to be a time when you may need to find a way to override the ego to get to the best solution, right? And so if you can just think about, as things surface for you at the end of the week, if you can just remind yourself of that 9 energy that we're going to be deep into, at the end of the week, that 9 energy embodies the humanitarian. And so there is a lot of balancing of the self and others, right? The self and the selfless. So it's finding that happy medium, but in circumstances where you could show up sort of hostile or in vengeance or, a lower octave, this is an opportunity for you to show up in a higher octave, in a more divinely guided way, which is led by your soul, okay? So, because the soul is whole, it is divine, there is nothing, nothing wrong with the soul, right? There's no lessons to be learned through the soul is whole and will always show up in the highest octave, in the highest expression. But so often, as we are in these human bodies, the ego overrides the soul until we learn certain lessons. And so I feel like at the end of the week, we're going to have an opportunity to choose how we show up to the situation, whatever that situation may be. It could be a relationship. It could be the decision to, leave a job, leave a relationship, whatever the case may be. But this is going to be a time when your soul wants to step up to the plate, but you have the choice whether you're going to allow your ego to override it and show up in the lower expression. And it's not necessarily bad, whatever you choose. It's just that this allowing your soul to take the lead here is the highest octave, and that's going to bring you the most happiness, right? That's going to open the lines to take you the furthest, the fastest, if that makes sense. So again, this is going to be a time for taking others into consideration, even when that's difficult to do. So even if the other person is not showing up at their highest, octave or highest level, that doesn't mean that you can't. That doesn't mean that you have to meet them where they're at in that sense. You can always show up where you feel called to show up, at the level that you feel called to show up, right? I once had someone say to me when I started this whole spiritual awakening that years ago, don't ever lower your vibration to meet another. Like always keep your vibration, as healthy and strong as possible. And don't ever lower it to compromise or accommodate for another, right? Because you can always show up for someone in your highest octave. Whether they receive that or not is up to them. But you always have a choice how you will show up. So I just feel like at the end of the week, we're probably going to have an opportunity to do that and to choose how we want to do that. Will we lower our vibration to meet another, or will we maintain our vibration while also taking the other person into consideration? Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I would just say at the end of the week, just keep in mind that 9 energy, because I feel like it's going to be very, very strong. And again, that is the humanitarian. Okay, that doesn't mean that you compromise who you are, or you get rid of some aspect of yourself to accommodate another. That just means that you have empathy. You take into consideration others. You don't hold judgment. You release any of those grudges, that sort of thing. So I feel like we're going to have an opportunity to see that unfold. So hopefully you'll keep in mind this reading and make the choice that feels best for you in the moment. So that's the week ahead. I hope it's a beautiful week for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. I so appreciate all of you. And yeah, I hope it's a beautiful week, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.